It's Hump Day already. Wow. Wednesday, January 5th on the Fun Astrology Podcast. Thomas Miller, thank you so much for joining us. Glad you are here. We've been talking about two signs in the chart. Yesterday we mentioned Capricorn. Today we're going to talk about Aquarius. Reason is that of the 10 planets, calling the sun and the moon planets, we know that discussion. But of the 10 bodies that we follow around, that we chase around the chart all the time, 6 of them are in these two signs, 3 in Capricorn, 3 now in Aquarius, because on Sunday morning, early, Mercury entered the fray in Aquarius. So yesterday we talked about the Sun, Venus, and Pluto in Capricorn. Now we have Mercury, Saturn, and through 7 p.m. tonight, the Moon in Aquarius. And one interesting aspect to keep in mind that happens at 11:03 this morning Eastern Time is that Venus in retrograde, what we talked about yesterday, sextiles Neptune. Ho, 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 ho. Remember all that we talked about yesterday? Well, now throw Neptune into there. And with Venus in retrograde, are you seeing clearly with Neptune in Pisces? Or are you believing the distorted lie? Oh my goodness, we could go on for that, but I'm committed to Aquarius for today. But keep in mind that you've got that sextile. Now, it is a sextile, so we've got that favorable side we could also pull from, and that is, are you willing to step into the spiritual truth, the intuition, the spiritual awareness, that deep knowledge that only comes from within? You know the right thing to do. You just need to step in and do it. All right, but let's talk about Aquarius, and I really like kind of this contrast between the two as we're sitting there, these two Saturn-ruled signs. Saturn, the original and only ruler of Capricorn, Saturn, the ancient ruler, now, of course, with Uranus of Aquarius. The don't tell me what to do sign, the revolutionary, rebel, the sign of social change. And that's the contrast that I'd like to point out here, is right there on that cusp, right where we change from Capricorn to Aquarius. It's out with the old, in with the new. And that really adds some nice seasoning to the whole Aquarian flavor, which we'll be talking about on the 19th when the sun gets there. Or maybe we'll just do it today and we can refer back to this. But seriously, how do you get rid of old structures? You break them down with new, revolutionary, innovative ideas of somebody that is so determined not to hold on to the past that they become a rebel in the present, and yet they are really projecting the future. And that's why they're often misunderstood or criticized. You know the old saying, pioneers get shot? Of course, an old Western United States analogy, but very true in so many ways. Modern pioneers, innovators of new technologies, how many times are they told, this simply can't work? And yet it does, and it changes the world. I'd like to start this look at Aquarius with its old ancient ruler sitting almost right in the middle of it, Saturn at 12 degrees. Mercury will move quickly until it doesn't. It's already in the shadow, so it's really literally slowing down even as it entered Aquarius. But it's there, so it will move fairly quickly over. It begins its retrograde, I believe, at 10 degrees 20 minutes, Aquarius. So it won't quite get to Saturn, but it will get close. They'll elbow bump, and then Mercury will take off going back the other direction. Let's think about Saturn from the perspective of karmic disruption. In other words, it's changing something that needs to change based on what it just came through in Capricorn. Now, it's also good to go back and look at when this happened previously, and that was in the mid-90s, which is when the Internet really came up out of the ground and started to take hold in a big, big way. Saturn literally spawned a whole new way of doing everything. I'm doing what I'm doing with you now because of Saturn's last transit through Aquarius. Well, what have we experienced this time? Obviously, COVID, right? Saturn was right on the banana peel in Capricorn when it sprang the conjunction with Pluto and then said, bye-bye, I'm out, leaving you here, Pluto. Good luck. Don't turn the lights out until the job's over. And Saturn moved into Aquarius. So it was almost like this trigger, boom, leave Pluto back there to be the stodgy transformer. And Saturn said, I'm going to go move into these new directions. Oh, by the way, it is the age of Aquarius, and I'm going to go there first. So see, we've had literally, if you think about, we do medicine differently now. There are protocols that are being debated. In other words, don't tell me what to do. Parentheses about my health is one of the big outcries right now around the world. Versus this new public awareness. I mean, in every country around the world, it's like, I've never seen every nation come around something like it has with COVID, from the original quarantine to now this whole situation about whether or not you have to be vaccinated by a vaccine that some are still not sold on, and yet others feel that it's the greatest thing in the world, and it gives us safety and the ability to resume our lives without the worry of being too affected by COVID. And we don't have to regurgitate that here. You know the conflict, right? There are people who believe in it. There are people who strictly oppose it. That is exactly the Aquarian-Saturn conflict. Could not be spelled out more clearly. Where are we headed? Jupiter in Pisces, getting ready to conjunct in April Neptune. Do you not think that throws gas on the whole fire? And now Mercury is going to come camp out in Aquarius for a while because of its retrograde. Maybe what we should be looking for are more vocal oppositions to a lot of things going on, especially that the true nodes change as well on the 18th. Now, you already found Capricorn in your chart from yesterday, so all you have to do is just move over to the next house. That's Aquarius. If you did the work we talked about yesterday and isolated those areas that were controlled by Venus, being influenced to change by Pluto, now you can move into Aquarius and set up, all right, where is the cutting edge? What is the forefront? What is the crazy, ridiculous thing that I could do that would pioneer new revolution in this area of my life? Even though everybody around me says I'm crazy, would I be willing to take a stab at it, at least to give it a try? And who's going to be my most vocal opponent? Mercury retrograde. And if before 7:16 p.m. tonight, Eastern Time, when the moon moves into Pisces, then you could say, am I willing to take the chance now? If you've identified it, what would be keeping you from letting the moon be a little bit of a trigger? I mean, we came off of the new moon on Sunday, so why not a new beginning today? I hope this little section of the chart, these 6 bodies in these 2 signs, has been interesting, because it sure has been for me, and that energy is really incredible. And because the moon is moving into Pisces, let's follow it right on in there tomorrow, and we'll talk about the moon, Jupiter, and Neptune in Pisces. See, we had 2 in Pisces yesterday. Now we'll have 3. So that'll be our topic for tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. We'll see you back then. Bye-bye.